Good morning, guys. Well, it may not be morning for you, but it's morning for me. It's Wednesday. I believe it's July 7th. And once again, I've got Gervais Manor out. So I'm just going to be filling in the snow. I need to pull that out. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm still trying to wake up a little bit, but I decided to go ahead and start the video. I'm going to stick my needle in here. When I get done with this one, I'm going to... Stormy's climbing up my shoulder. I'm going to try to film a stitch with me. I mean, okay, maybe I should have waited until I woke up a little bit. I'm going to try to film a how I stitch in hand. Like just a little video of how I stitch in hand. So, I have no idea how that would go, but I know when I was learning, I had a hard time. Even watching people, I had a hard time because I found that people do it a little bit differently, and I had to find the way that worked for me. So, I'm going to start this off up here using roasted marshmallow. If for some reason this is the first time you've ever watched one of my videos or a Stitch With Me video, I am working on Gervais Manor by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I'm stitching it on 25 count Prim Lugana by Holt, and I'm using the called for overdyed threads. And this piece is special to me because I'm stitching it for my mom. And I just pulled that out. I'm stitching it for my mom, and it is a tribute to her, and the male cardinal represents my late brother who passed away in 2018, and the female cardinal represents me, and the pink house represents my mom because she is the home. So that's why this piece is important to me. And if you stitch samplers, tell me, do you consider this a sampler? Because I was calling my Ada Billison 1863 by Whilst Irish Naps my first sampler. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, it's not a reproduction sampler, but it's kind of a sampler. I don't really know a lot about what makes a sampler other than I know they usually have alphabets and stuff. Well, this doesn't have an alphabet, but it has motifs, so I'm not sure what makes a sampler. Is it the alphabet? So I'm not sure. I mean, it has initials, but it doesn't have an alphabet. So I'm going to put my mom's initial, my initial, and my brother's initial. Let me look at the chart. I think there's 3 spots. I haven't thought about that since I first started. So there's B and A, and then G for Brenda Gervais, and I guess A is her middle name. So what I was going to do is I was going to put K and D for me and my brother, and then a K down here because my mom's name starts with K. And then for where it says 2018, I'll put 2021. Assuming I finish it in 2021. I think I will. I don't have that much left to go. So, I'll turn this around. So far I've completed this border. I've completed all of the greenery of this border and some of the flowers. I've completed the whole house, the female cardinal, and the fence, and right now I'm working on this. So once I get done with the snow, I can move up and do these motifs in this big basket. So yeah, it's not too bad. I know it always feels like it's going to be quicker than what it really is. So, but by getting this house done first, and this fill in down here, I feel like the rest of it will move more quickly. So I'm excited because tonight is the premiere of Big Brother. I am a huge, huge, huge Big Brother and Survivor fan. They are my favorite TV shows ever. I'm a crazy super fan. I mean, I'm not the kind of super fan where I have like every season memorized, because the only reason I don't is because I just have trouble memorizing things. But I get the live feeds, I watch the live feeds, and I have done that since the 2000s. So I've been watching Big Brother since season 2. I didn't watch season 1. I kind of watched like the very end of it, but it was a lot different than the modern Big Brother. Hang on, I'm gonna get a drink of coffee. But I was pretty young. Let me see. Okay, I'm 41, and this is gonna be season 23. So I've been watching for 22 years. So I was 19 when the first season came out. Now, I didn't start watching the live feeds. I don't even know if they offered the live feeds. I think they did offer the live feeds when it first came out, but it wasn't like it is today. You had to download this app on your computer, and of course it's not like the computers we have today. And it was this really grainy footage of the house. But it was awesome. But I would say probably around 2000, let's see, maybe around 2005 or something, 2006 is when I started really watching the live feeds. So I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, and here's the thing. If you watch Big Brother, the TV show, but you don't watch the live feeds, it's two totally different things. The TV show is, they take parts and they use what they want to make a storyline. But the reality of what really goes on in the house and all the planning and scheming and all that stuff is, you see that on the live feeds and you don't see a lot of that on the show. Because they can only show so much. Even with 3 episodes a week, they only show so much. So I get really into it. And then I watch the TV show with my husband and I say, nope, that's not really what happened. Nope, let me tell you what really happened. Oh, I will go without sleep. If there's like a fight in the house, I will stay up and I will watch it. See, you can watch it on your phone. I will stay up and watch whatever craziness is going on in the house. Or if it's the head of household competition, which is the weekly competition where they have it to figure out who's going to be over the house for the week, I will stay up to the ungodly hours of the night and then be so exhausted the next day just to find out. I'm crazy, y'all. But I love it. It's my favorite thing. And I also am a Survivor super fan. I am, I go on Reddit, and I am, if you don't know what Reddit is, it's kind of hard to explain. It's a social media website. But I go on Reddit to the Big Brother and the Survivor subreddits, and I'm always like reading what's going on. And, I mean, like, I'm all about it. So I love Survivor. I love Big Brother. Now, Survivor was postponed because of the pandemic. They couldn't film, and it killed me because that was two seasons of Survivor, I think, that we've missed. But they did film season 41. Season 40 was all winners, which was, when I found out it was all winners, like, my husband, he had to hear it because I was just losing my mind. I was like, it's an all winner season! And my favorite of all time is Tyson. So, I'm sorry, if y'all don't watch Survivor, you're going to be like, what is she talking about? So anyway, the point of my story is that Big Brother starts tonight, so I'm definitely going to be getting behind on my floss too, because I got to watch Big Brother. And at first, the live feeds are the best. Like, you got to watch it at first because that's when you start figuring out who's teaming up with who, okay? So you watch that, and then it gets really good. But then when they start voting people off, like, and the house gets smaller, once it gets down to like 8 people, you start really getting annoyed with all of them, and it's not as fun to watch because they've already drawn, you know, for the most part, they already, you know what the pecking order is going to be, and all they do is lay in bed all day. So it's not fun when they do that. It's fun when they are forming alliances and coming up with plans and going back and forth into different rooms, and some people are being sneaky, and I don't know. It's fun to hear just people talk, like on I guess kind of like me doing this, like just hearing people talk. They'll talk about their lives and their families and experiences. So, anyway, I'm excited because that starts tonight. And last season was horrible. It was a horrible season. So, I really hope that this year is good. And it's a big stress relief for me, too. I feel like in the summertime, when Big Brother starts, it's like I'm just starting to get like antsy and aggravated and like, I don't know, just I guess I like having time off from school, but at the same time, it just not having that routine, I don't know, I just kind of get like not bored, but just antsy. I don't know how to explain it. But it's getting time for me to start doing my homeschool planning. This will be our 4th year. Let's see, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, this will be our 4th year homeschooling. Well, he's going to be in 5th grade. His 2nd grade year, I did half a year of online virtual public school. And then well, maybe 2/3 of the year. And then I was like, no, I need to do full homeschool. So I transferred him out of the online virtual public school to traditional homeschool. So by now, I've kind of like realized what I need to do to prepare. Because in the beginning, I overcompensated. I thought I had to do more than what I really did. And I ended up stressing myself out. But now I have a little bit more experience under my belt. And I hope y'all can see this. I'm trying to keep it in frame. I think it was Michelle. If it wasn't Michelle, I'm sorry. But she said I was stressing her out because she didn't know if I was going to leave the 2 spaces for the tree branches. And I said yes, because when I first started, when I was doing these, in my head I was thinking, leave 2 spaces, leave 2 spaces, leave 2 spaces. So that I would make sure to do that. But anyway, so I pretty much have our curriculum picked out. Some stuff we are just picking up where we left off at the end of 4th grade and just moving on. Like with math and stuff like that, it's just we just pick up where we left off. And then for things like language arts, he moves up a level. Basically, when you homeschool, you go at your child's pace. So there's some areas we spend more time on, and some areas we go quicker. So the grades of the year, like 5th grade, it matters, but then again, it doesn't matter at this point because it depends on where you live. But there's no, it's up to me. So I have a lot of freedom in that I can choose. I can choose what we do. So like for instance, this year I'm choosing to teach him American history. Now we could do world history, we could do social studies, we could do South Carolina history. The laws in my state say that he has to have social studies, science, language arts, math. Let's see. Well, language arts includes reading and writing as far as the state goes, but that also includes grammar, handwriting, literature. So language arts gets broken down into different categories. So I actually teach several different smaller subjects within language arts. So we say language arts, but actually we do literature, we do reading, we do handwriting, we do writing, we do spelling, and we do vocabulary. So it gets broken down. So, and then we do math, science, social studies. Those are the requirements for Parker's age. Now, when he gets to be 7th grade and up, you have to add more, but it's actually what I'm already teaching. It's just a more, a little bit more intense. But every state has different laws. So for our state, that's how it works. South Carolina is pretty fluid in what they allow. Now we do belong to a homeschool association. You can go through your school district. You can go through like a private school that has a homeschooling. I don't know what you call it. I'm blanking out. Or you can join an association, which is what we do. So, and we have to have school at least 180 days a year. It can be any 180 days from July 31st until July 31st. Or you know what I mean. Like, I guess July 31st to July 30th or something like that. It can be any 180 days that you choose. So you pick your own schedule. What else? You have to keep records. He doesn't have to have grades at this age, but I have to keep like a progress report, because basically the way we do it, I probably won't start actual letter grades until 6th grade. I may test the waters this year, but he needs to have grades before we get to junior high, because he will need a transcript starting in 9th grade. So I will have to have grades for him starting in 9th grade. But the reason that grades are kind of pointless for us at this point is because we work on something until he gets it. So there's no like, oh, you failed this spelling test or something. Basically, if he does 10 words and he misses one, we review the word, he learns how to spell it correctly, and he redoes it. So there's no like, oh, you got a B in spelling. You know what I mean? Because we are fixing whatever he's struggling with at that moment. So if he doesn't get a math concept, we just work on it more. I don't give him a C or a D and say, oh, well, we're going to move on. You didn't get multiplication, but we got to move on to division now. Sorry about your luck. We just work on it until he gets it. So it's called mastery. Now, we don't do mastery in all subjects because we would never get through. But things like spelling, writing, vocabulary, math, those things are mastery subjects. Things like science, social studies, that's more comprehension, review, and move on. So, sorry, I had to lick my hand. So that's how it works. And, it's fluid. Sometimes we have to adjust what we're doing, but he loves homeschool. He loves it. He asked to be homeschooled. I actually talked about this on one of my Stitch With Me's that I had to delete. Something went wrong. I can't remember what it was. But after 1st grade, he asked to be homeschooled. He had wonderful teachers, absolutely wonderful teachers. But Parker, he did not fit in a special education classroom because he was extremely bored and he was too high functioning. But he didn't fit in a traditional classroom either because of multiple reasons. The number one reason being the overstimulation in the classroom. I mean, you've got 22 other kids, and the noise, the touching, like standing in line in the hallway, the transitions from classroom to hallway to bathroom break to art to music to playground back in the room. He's always struggled with transitions, and changing all the time, all day long, and then all of the chaos and the noise and like the lunchroom and all that. It was too much for him. He was coming home so stressed out, so upset. He would just come home and kind of curl into himself on the couch, and that's all he could do. He was so miserable. And because of his ADHD, to keep him basically, from lashing out and having behavioral issues, he was on a higher dose of medication, and he was not eating. So he was not gaining weight. He stayed the same weight for almost 3 years. And I said, we can't do this anymore. So when he said, Mommy, I want to be homeschooled, he knew what homeschool was because his best friend was homeschooled and another acquaintance was homeschooled. So he knew it just meant doing school at home. So I told my husband, I said, he wants to be homeschooled. And we prayed about it. We talked about it. I did some research. And I said, you know what? If we do this, I can reduce his medication. He won't be as stressed out. And, we can try it. And my husband, I said, okay, let's try it. If it doesn't work, all we have to do is go enroll him back in public school. It's not a big deal. So what I did is, to get started, is I enrolled him in the online public school. And we did that for a while. And there were some benefits, but there was also some cons. And basically, he was doing the Common Core curriculum and stuff, but I was leading him through all the work because he would just see his teacher on a webcam a couple times a week. So, I just thought, well, here's the thing. If he got behind in math or something like that, he did not have the ability to continue working on it. And he got stuck in math, and he was just getting, they were giving him grades, and he was getting bad grades because he just couldn't do it. And when I took him out of that and we started doing it at our own pace, he was much more successful, and his confidence was so much higher. So, it worked for me to learn more about homeschooling and to be able to research curriculums, because this was just 6 weeks before school started when we decided to homeschool. And so it gave me time to choose some curriculums and things like that. And so once I switched over, I was happy. I don't regret doing the online public school because it worked. It worked for us while we needed it. And I think it's great for some families, but for him, traditional homeschool's fine. So, if you have any questions about any of that, I'm happy to answer it. It's just so much information. I can't just share it in 5 minutes. It's been a long journey, but it's been a great journey. It's been wonderful for him. He started gaining weight that first year when I reduced his medication. He started gaining weight and growing. And it's amazing. We look at him and we're just like, look, he's he's like a healthy weight. He's in an average percentile, and it's awesome because when your child struggles with eating for so long, and you have to choose between them eating or them potentially hurting themselves, it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard decision. But we have found the balance that works for him now. And he's to the point now where he has learned He's learned and matured to where he only takes medication for focusing for school. So he only needs it on school days, and we are actually med-free this summer. This is the first time since he was 6 years old that he has been med-free for, more than a weekend. And he's doing great. He's doing really well. I'm very proud of him. So, I would love for him to be able to have school without medication, but at this point, his brain just does not work that way. He cannot focus. So, at this point in his life, he does need medication in order to be able to do his schoolwork. So, I know people have different opinions on that, but I have to say, if you have someone in your life who has a child on medication, where they choose to medicate, to not medicate, just love them and just respect their decision, because no matter what they choose, it is a hard decision. And it does not come without consequences on either side. So, one thing I wish people understood about our situation is that, just love us no matter what we do, because we only want the best for our child. And even though people may not agree with how we do things, they may say, oh, kids don't need to be on medication, or kids need medication, or kids need to be in public school, or whatever. That's a choice that every family needs to make for themselves. So just love on them and give them a hug and just say, whatever you do, I support you. Because that's really all I ever wanted to hear, was people just say they support me. Not tell me what to do, not tell me what they think, not tell me what their cousins, brothers, uncles, sister-in-law did, but just say, you know what, I support you in what you're doing. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to know, every little thing. Just support me. That's all I ask. So, and it means a lot. The people in our lives who have stood by us through thick and thin, and all the different things we've been through on this journey, this special needs journey, we couldn't have made it without those people. So, I'm very thankful. I have no idea. How long have I been yammering away? 27 minutes. Oh, that's about the same time I looked last time. So, I hope y'all didn't mind me what I talked about today. So, I ran the gamut. I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to try to set up and attempt to film a how I stitch in hand video. So, I have no idea how that's going to go, and I'm going to try my best. So, thanks guys for joining me. Almost getting to the end here of my snow. My yellow snow. No, really, it's fine. It looks antique. Okay guys, bye.